2, we are measuring national output in Econ. This is example 2. We are going to work example 2. We start with example 1, whereby we measure about the national Econ. At that time, we only have one I, and at this time now, the I stands for investment. But this IG now is example 2. The IG stands for the gross profit domestic investment. So this IG, you have to find the IG. The IG is not in the data. So you have to find the IG. To find the IG, this depreciation is equal to IG, which is the gross profit domestic investment, minus the net profit domestic investment, IN. So you have to minus from it, transpose it, and we did a transporting from there. So DES stands for the depreciation, and depreciation has 3 words or 3 meanings. We call it one. CFC is consumption fixed capital. In other words, the depreciation we call it one CCA. The CCA is one capital consumption allowance, CCA. So we always use depreciation and we say it's equal to IG, which we consider as well the gross domestic investment, the IG, minus the RN. RN is equal to what we consider as our net profit domestic investment. Now we transpose, we are looking for IG. So transporting the one, the IN to what, to the D. This was minus, coming across the equal sign is one positive. So D plus IN equal to IG. So the D here is 127, which is what the depreciation is 27. The R in here is what the figure on the table there is 133. When we add 27 and 33, it gives us 160. That is how we find the IG. And the IG was not on the table. So you have to find the IG. So finding the IG, this is how we find the IG. From there now, we'll come to GMP. Now, the first lecture we talked about open and closed economy. Open economy, we say that this is open economy. GN is equal to C plus I plus G plus X minus N. Now, this becomes the word the open economy. This is gross national product should be equal to consumption. The I stands for investment. The G stands for government spending on government purchase plus parenthesis open X minus N. It closes. So when you open the parenthesis, the X here stands for export, M stands for what? Input. When you realize that when export is greater than input, we consider it as well as surplus budget. We consider it as well as surplus budget. But if we realize that input is greater than, when input is greater than export, we consider this as well deficit one, deficit budget. Then meaning it ends in what? It ends in negative. So whenever the input greater than export, it ends in what? Negative. And whenever it ends in negative, we consider it as what? Deficit budget or budget deficit. Deficit budget or budget deficit. Budget deficit or deficit budget. It's the same. So meaning that it ends in negative. So our first problem we solved, we end in what? We end in negative. Therefore, it was what? Budget what? Deficit. Or deficit budget deficit. So it was the first problem. At this time now, we'll be looking at solving this problem in GNP. Now, this is the open economy, as I said. And the closed economy, we say that GDP should be equal equal to C plus I plus G. Now this becomes the one, the closed economy. Within the closed economy, we talk about the gross domestic product. It's equal to the consumption plus investment plus government spending. Now within the one, the closed economy, we are not even talking about exports and import. We don't have import and export within the one, within the closed economy. So in definition, we are defining GNP, which is what, gross domestic product. We are saying that is the total monetary value. The total monetary value of our goods and services that have been formed within and without the country, GNP. The total monetary value of goods and services that have been formed within the country and without the country, meaning abroad, at GNP. Then GDP, we are saying that the gross domestic product is the total monetary value of goods and services that are being produced within the world, within the country. Within the country. So this is right, GDP. So one day we'll be asked to differentiate between open economy and closed economy. From there now we'll go to the problem. We'll solve the problem now. This is GNP is equal to C stands for consumption, this plus IG. I told you the IG stands for the gross private domestic investment. We found it, it's not on the table, you have to find it. Government purchase or government spending, G. Plus parenthesis open, the X here stands for export. M stands for what? Input. And these are the figures we will find on the table. So we put in GNP 245 plus 60, meaning we add 27 and 33, that how we get it back is 60. So this is the 60 plus 72. We subtract 20 minus 9, it gives us 11. Now 20 minus 9, it ends in our positive. Therefore we have our surplus budget. We consider it as well the surplus budget in our economy. We continue. GNP is 24 plus 50, 445 plus 60 plus 72 plus 11 come up to what? 388 million. The M stands for what? Million. So in calculating our national income, you can sometimes end in what? Million, sometimes end in what? Billion. So when you see in the writing, if you see million, you abbreviate it to N. When you see billion, you abbreviate it with what? With B. So this is the one, the GNP. The NNP stands for net national product. Net national product should be equal to what? The GNP minus the depreciation. So the depreciation value there on the table is what? Is 27. We have already found GNP, which is 338. So this is the 338 minus the 27. If you minus the 27, your NNP, which is the what? The net national product, is equal to 361 million. After finding that, you come to NI. NI stands for national income. So the NI, the national income, the income you receive, and there are different types of income you receive. Sometimes it can be in cash or in kind. Cash or kind. So we have the national income. Now, looking at the national income, sometimes you look at grants or aid or subsidy given by other countries. That's national income. And those income, those things you are receiving from any other country, they have a monetary value. All of them have monetary value. Sometimes country will send you cars, some country will send you medicine, rice, etc. Any other thing you receive, they have a monetary value. So the national income is equal to the net national product minus the IBT stands for indirect business tax. This is the IBT, indirect business tax. So after getting the net national product, you put in a value. So NI is equal to 361 million, which was the NNP, minus the indirect business tax value, which is what? 18. If you do that, you subtract, you get what? 343 million. That becomes the national income after subtracting those things. From there, we're going to PR. The PR stands for personal income. Personal income. Now, within the personal income, you have the net national income, which is the NR. Should be equal minus social security tax. In other words, the social security tax, you can say social security contribution. You can also make it out as C. So in your table, sometimes you will see social security contribution and social security tax. So to find the personal income should be equal to the NR minus the SST. The SST stands for social security tax or social security contribution. This is the one, the SST. Minus the UCP. The UCP stands for undistributed corporate profit. You have companies in your country, so undistributed corporate profit, UCP. Minus CRT, corporate income tax. Corporate income tax, CRT. Plus transfer payment. Transfer payment, sometimes you know they pension you and you have to get, anytime non end, you have to get something. So it becomes what? Transfer payment. So we go through, we put in the figure, the 343, it comes from the one, the NNR, or the NR, which is the national income, for 343 million. Let's see. So the value for the NR is this. So we have all of this value there. When we subtract. Now sometimes you collect one like terms, meaning 343 and 12. You add them up, then you add 20, 21, 19. You add them up. That becomes the one the like terms. Then afterward you want to subtract. So if you are using your calculator too, you can put everything in the calculator and arrive at this answer, which is 295 million. This is 295 million, representing the PR, which is the personal income. After finding the personal income, you come to DR, and DR stands for disposable income. Now we have several income. We get permanent income, we get disposable income. Now, another income, you get a what? Transitory income. Unexpected, we consider it as well. Unexpected income, transitory. You don't think about it, but sometimes you're working, you battle with a friend, you say, okay, my man, same things I have, oh, my man, I have this. Unexpected income, we consider it as well. Transitory income is an income too. So, what you take home, your take home pay, after deducting everything, the one you are taking home as an individual, as a person, we consider it as well disposable income. So, it's equal to the personal income minus PT stands for personal tax. As a working man, they have to deduct tax. As a working man, you have to deduct tax. So you are paying taxes to what? To government. So you have to deduct the tax. So we are saying that disposable income DR is equal to personal income PR minus personal tax. So those values are given. The 295 comes from the one PR as a PR value. Minus the personal tax, they are deducting 26 million from your tax. So if you do the subtraction, you come out to 269 million. So 269 million, this is the money you are taking home. That becomes your take-home pay. From here now, we have to come to income method. And the first method we deal with is the expenditure method. So within that, you have to use the income method. So using the income method, we say NR, we start with NR, which is the national income, and equal to the wages, meaning after work, contractor, you have to get something. And those wages, we can consider it as compensation of our employees, or employees' compensation, our wages, plus rent, plus interest, plus profit. Mind you, profit is not on the table given. You have to find the profit by adding the following. You have to find profit by adding this following item on the data. The CRT stands for corporate income tax. CRT, corporate income tax. The value there is what? Is 19. UCP stands for undistributed corporate profit. Undistributed corporate profit. The value there is what? 21. Dividend. Dividend is 16. When you work, you do so provide partnership, your benefit, your sharing it is considered as what? Dividend. So the dividend here is what? The value there is what? 16. Then we have proprietary income. Proprietary income is what? 33. You add all of this, it gives you 89. That becomes the what? The profit you are making there. So the profit is not on the table given. You have to find the profit. So to find the profit now, add the following and come up to the one. To find the profit. Now, you can also use the CMO as profit per. So per value, you can use the per to represent what? Profit. So whenever you see per, it represents what? Profit. Now, going ahead, you say what? NR is equal to 223 million. All of them we are talking about 1 million. 223 million plus 18 million plus 13 million plus 89. This 89 we get from the profit. So your NR will be equal to what? 343 million. That becomes your what? Your NR. Now, in the expenditure method, the NR 343 million. If you come to the one, the NR is what is the same, 343 million. So when you are calculating, you make sure that these items should what? Should correspond. NR, NNP, and GMP. It should what? It should correspond. If you base any of this figure, if any of these figures are not corresponding, then your calculation is what? Is wrong. From here now we come to what? NNP. The net national product should be equal to NR plus indirect business tax, IBT. So NNP should be equal to the value for NR 343 million plus 18. If we add these two, it will give us 361 million. So if you look at NNP, coming here, NNP, the value for NNP in the expenditure method is 361 million. Expenditure in income method is 361 million. So as I said, when in your calculation, this thing should be one, should be the same. Then meaning that your calculation is online, is correct. GMP, the gross national product, GNP. So to calculate the GNP on an income method, we say GNP should be equal to NNP, net national product, plus the depreciation. Now the depreciation, as I said, get 3 mean, get CCA, or get CFC. 3 mean. So these are the 3 means for the one is depreciation. Depreciation, we have consumption for capital allowance. This is capital phase, consumption phase, capital. These are all names for what? Depreciation. So the GNP gross national product is equal to 361 plus 27. If we add them up, come up to what? 388 million. So if we go back to the expenditure method, GNP is 388 million. Income method, GNP is 388 million. There where we start the calculation. So if you ask, if you have questions, if you don't understand anything, you call me on my number and we better explain offline. And I will send this to download. You have to download it. So thank you.